everyone, it's Miss Allison. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Alright, so guys, let's take a look at our mentor text dissection. This is the second day of our unit. It will be after our on-demand. You'll notice that it's not linked into the table of contents, but there still is a mini lesson that goes with it. This is the pre-work to the teaching that is going to happen after, okay? So let's take a look. Our learning target is I can reflect on my writing by dissecting the mentor text, and success criteria is I have identified 3 things I can change in my own writing based on the mentor text. So for this, guys, you're going to want to have that on-demand pulled up. We also are going to need this activity. I did link it here just in case. This is on Schoology, so that's how I can see it and grade it, but you know, whatever happens, it's here as well. And you'll notice we have the same exact learning target and success criteria here, and then the mentor text is linked right here. It will ask you to make a copy, so make sure you make a copy of that. All of these things we're going to need. So you'll have 4 things open. You'll have this slideshow. You will have your on-demand, the mentor text dissection, and then the copy of Seed Folks mentor text. All of those things are going to be open as we go through, all right? So our goal is to literally dissect, which is why I put a picture of those tools here, like if we were dissecting a frog or something. We're going to pull apart that mentor text, really learn from it. Mentor text is exactly as it sounds, right? It's our mentor. It's something that we can learn and model our own writing after. It is not 100% perfect, but neither are people, right? Neither are real mentors. However, it's a really strong example to get us started, okay? So step 1 is going to be noticings and wonderings. So I'm going to have you do this part on your own. You are going to either read it out loud to yourself, or you can have Google read it to you, but you're going to read through that mentor text, go through, and as you listen, look for what we call noticings and wonderings. So what are some things you notice that this writer did super strong? And then what are some things you wonder about? Why did they make that choice? How did they do that? Both of these can be positive or negatives, right? I notice they did a really nice job on their main points. I noticed they never quoted the text, right? Whatever you notice, and then whatever you wonder. I wonder why they didn't quote the text. I wonder how their main points were so strong. Really interact with this, guys. We should have tons of bullet points. I'm going to suggest that every time you finish a paragraph on your mentor text, boom, I stop. I come up with at least 1 for each column, all right? So that's going to be step 1. So go ahead and make sure that you get that part done, and we'll check back. All right, so step 2, once you have done your noticings and wonderings, is to go through your informational checklist a second time. This time in class, we're going to read it on our own. So if you're there joining us or making up for that time, I gave 8 minutes to do this. You might need a little bit more, but just do another quick overview now that you've heard it once, and try and score this on the different criteria in the checklist. This is the same exact checklist that you will use in your own writing as we're going through and reflecting, but we're going to use it on the mentor text first. So there are different categories in structure, content, and conventions, and then underneath that it has very specific things that we're looking for. So in like the introduction and conclusion, or excuse me, introduction and thesis, I was looking at that, and then conclusion down here. Those things are going to help you, and we're looking for not yet, I don't see it, starting to, yes, looks good, or wow, like that's amazing, right? So that would be kind of our 4-point scale here. What do you see? As you do this, remember you are welcome to use that comment feature. So if you put maybe an X in this box, you can make a comment and say, this is why I think that thing. Okay? So take about 8 minutes on your own. You might need a little bit more to go through on this piece and give it a kind of once over on the checklist to see what you found. Awesome, guys. Thanks for doing that. So next part is going to be hard to replicate if you are not in class, but we are going to have a class discussion about what we saw within that mentor text. So this will be on your end now, since we're not in class together as you're watching this, to complete this. What we're going to do is we're going to use this structure. So we would go through and talk about what we saw, what are the good, the bad, the ugly in this one, any comments that we have. And then down here we're going to use a new structure called praise, press, or address. So we would take about 10 minutes to do this. Praise, what are some things that we really admired about this mentor text that we would like to note? And then you see this column here, in my writing, I want to. So maybe you're like, gosh, their thesis was amazing. I really enjoyed the way that they laid it out. In my writing, I want a thesis. That's strong, right? So that would be an example here. So first start with praise. What did they do well? Press. What's something you saw that is maybe proficient, right? Maybe we're in that looks good category, but they could do a little bit different things with it. Or you're like, man, that's a great opportunity to go deeper. So that would be something you press on. Maybe it's the analysis or their word choice or the quotes they picked, but press a little bit deeper into that, right? And then again, in my own writing, I want to also make sure that my analysis is strong or whatever, okay? And then address. This is like, I literally cannot and will not be able to read this until this person fixes this thing. Spelling, formatting, like any of those things here, that's where address would go. So it's like, you need to fix this yesterday, right? Okay, so make sure you get that. And then here, again, in my writing, I want to check conventions, because when I read a paper that didn't have good conventions, it was difficult, or whatever you want to say, okay? So take a couple minutes, guys. We can't have a full class discussion if you're not in class, but we can go through and start filling this out together and see what we need to do there. All right, awesome, guys. So now we are finally at step 4. So step 4 is you're going back to your own on-demand, the one that you wrote yesterday, and you are going to pick 3 things to change, and you're going to comment, change 1, change 2, change 3. Just like I showed you here, you just select it, you click the comment box here, and then you'd say change 1 or whatever, using the mentor text. So think about, like, what did you learn in that mentor text that you can now apply? So like, again, they had really strong this, or I really enjoyed this. Try to go back into your on-demand and let the mentor text guide your work there. All right, guys, excellent job. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and happy writing.